Okay, I'm just going to jump on the opportunity to start speaking today. It always has a bit of a delay, and then we're live. So, hey, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the third part of this series on cultivating essence. This has been a fun series so far to share, and I hope you've been able to take some stuff away from it so far. Um, yeah, a couple things to share. What do I have to share? Well, one, I'm not actually going to move away from my camera because for whatever reason, it seems to like go out of focus really easily and then not come back in. So I've got to get that fixed. But man, it's hot right now. So I've got that bubbly, sparkling water. I got the soda stream and I finally figured out like the perfect formula to make it. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Life is good when you can figure out a system like that. And you never know, we might get disturbed on this live tonight because my 3-year-old, we've just transitioned him to a bed and it has been chaos. With our oldest, our 5-year-old, it took him a couple days, 1 or 2 days, and we had him transition from crib to bed. And with our 3-year-old, it's been a nightmare. We've literally, it's been probably 2 months at this point where it's sort of a constant battle each night. So you may hear things. My son might run in. You never know. So we'll keep this lively for this evening. You never know what's going to happen. So as you've probably seen, I've mentioned on the caption for this that tonight. I always forget the names of these, but what I've spoken to is that we're going to be looking at how do we empower a lifestyle in alignment with our essence. And this is part 3 in this series. If you haven't had a chance to catch the other ones, part 1 and part 2, I'll make sure to put them in the links, both for the group that I run and on my public profile, so you can go back and watch those. Anything else I want to share to that? No, not really. Just that, yeah, those videos they're around and they're worth checking out. And I'll just do a brief recap of essence here tonight. What is essence? So, and I'm not going to spend a long time here because you can go back and watch the other videos, but fundamentally, essence is the qualities of being of who we are. If Yeah, I've referred to in this series that often if we look at who we were when we were born as a child, as a young baby, that we all have these distinct qualities of being within us that we've carried from the time we were a baby all the way to, we'll call it, our death in a sense, not to be morbid. And the idea here is that these qualities are innate. A way of sort of really thinking about this is like, what qualities have you been acknowledged for in your life by others? And I'm not talking about the ones where it's like, hey, you're lazy, or you're mean. I'm really looking at like, hey, do you bring brilliance to the world? Do you bring creativity, wit, humor? Like, those are the qualities that we're talking about. So oftentimes we have a sense of these qualities within us. And for this series, I want you to be connected to, like, what are the qualities you think you have? What qualities within do you carry? So to make it, lively, as you're watching this, I'd love for it to hear some comments. Like, what are some of the things that people have said to you, or things that you've noticed about yourself that really like make you unique? And don't go down the pathway of like, okay, that's not unique enough. What are the qualities that really stand out to you? So my qualities of essence are visionary, energy, compassion, wisdom, and curiosity. And this pathway of cultivating essence has been really leaning into those qualities of being, those qualities of essence. So I'd love to hear from you what you see for yourself. And tonight we're going to look at this idea of empowering lifestyle. What would it look like to live a lifestyle from essence? How do we get there? How do we do this? Um, and oftentimes, what I kind of spoke to in the previous video was that um, throughout our lives, there have been conversations we've had, experiences we've had, things that have knocked us off the path of being connected to our essence. So, what might have come easily to us in childhood and really resonated as we've gone into adulthood, we tend to lose connection to those qualities of being, you know, or what happens is sometimes. We may, what may have happened is, like, say for example, we have been seen as kind, and so our kindness is a quality that we've had throughout our lives, and then at some point our kindness got taken advantage of, or our kindness kind of got belittled, and so what we've done is we sort of buried it. We know it's still there, but we get scared of really truly embracing it, in a world that can be scary at times. So that's a real place to get started from, is in this conversation of where do you get knocked out. Some of the places to look at are in the day-to-day life, in our day-to-day lives, places like when we get overwhelmed, when we get overwhelmed with the tasks that we're doing in life, the commitments that we make, when we have commitments to family or to career or to friendships, to family, that can be a place that knocks us out because we are so much in the process of serving others that we aren't even connected to who we are. So that's a place to look. Frustration is another one, right? Where, like I was kind of mentioning before with kindness, where, initially we've been connected to these qualities of being, and over time we're just like, this is not working. Being kind is not working for myself out in the world, or being confident, any of these qualities you can look at, there's always going to be a shadow side of them that eventually knocks us out of being connected to essence. And the list goes on. We can find many, many other places to look, right? You could even get into the more of the circumstantial, like a job loss or a relationship loss, um, anything like that, where all of a sudden we find ourselves not connected to our essence. So this is really, really important work to stay aligned with who we are, to live a life from this place of essence. It's really magical work, and it's often a place um, that we aren't even aware of. We kind of feel hints of it, as we go through our day to day, where it's like, oh, that felt really good, or I was able to create something really neat here, but it's always just like a glimpse of what could be. So, and then the next place I want to look at is oftentimes where I see people, on the pathway to being connected to essence, and there's these sort of band-aid fixes to get there. you know it's not to say that being connected to your essence is a long arduous path, but it can require some deep work, some deep unearthing. It doesn't have to. There's also this other side of, I mean, really, it's all made up, right? So whether it's a long, arduous path to get there, or a short path, some of the things to be aware of on the sort of the path where you're looking to create fixes. And there's sort of three. Was it three? I'm going to say two places for now because I can't think of the third. But the first of these sort of band-aid fixes is positive thinking. And so if you look at a lot of the self-help material in the world right now, a lot of it is around positive thinking and reframing your mindset, and always sort of staying, even keeled, and never looking at the negative. And of course, there's so much good to that, especially if you have been in a place where negativity has sort of run your life. If you're sort of on the one end of the spectrum, well, yeah, of course, looking at sort of the positive thinking side of things is going to be beneficial. The trap that often happens in this place is that we get so aligned with positive thinking that we can't actually be with negative. We can't actually be with the negative thoughts, or the times where we feel sad or angry, that type of thing. And one of the things that also happens from this place is that we often can't be with others when they're showing these things. If somebody's showing disappointment, or they're complaining, or the list goes on, because we're so stuck in this positive thinking way, that we only are really going to be connected to the one side of our essence. So that's a place to look out for, to just be mindful of. Again, it's not a bad thing, but it is sort of half of the job to be done here. There's the other side of it. And so a part of essence, a part of embracing the qualities of who we are is embracing the wholeness of who we are, both the positive and the negative, the light and the shadow. So that's one place to look. The other one that is very prominent is affirmations. And again, it's a tool, right? So affirmations can be a good thing, but what often happens is that, we're creating a statement or a phrase that we're trying to rewrite our minds with, or we're trying to sort of create a fix for something that's not working well in our life, or might be working well and we just want it to be better. The thing with affirmation is that we're not actually dealing with the source issue. We're sort of like layering on top of it. We're sort of hiding the issue that's underneath. And so with affirmation, it feels good and it looks good, but there's often something missing in it. And it is that piece of authenticity, that piece of really being able to be with the core issue at hand. Because the more we dive into some of the core pieces that are affecting our lives, the more we get in tuned with the essence of who we are. Because whether there's positives or negatives happening in our lives, we just get to show up as ourselves and be true to that. So those are a couple places to look. And then when we talk about being connected to essence, a phrase that actually comes from accomplishment coaching that I always like is what we call back to being. So back to being, back to essence. And think of this for yourself as you're listening. What are some of the ways that you bring yourself back to being? Um, whether it's, and so I'm going to sort of leave you with that just to think over for a second and see what you come up with. Even if you write down a few points of like, hey, when I'm feeling off, when I'm feeling, sad, when I'm feeling frustrated, what are some ways that I sort of get that energy moving again? I get those juices flowing. So let me know what comes up for you. Um, a couple places that I wrote down, um, that have supported me and served me was, like, one is having a daily routine. So most days I follow a regular routine of working out, doing some stretching, possibly doing some reading, and that sort of has become a foundation of my life. So you could look at that as sort of a place of connecting to well-being, sort of fostering daily habits in that sense. That's one place that I find that I get connected back to being, or back to essence. And I'm going to sort of throw a few more at you here that I found to be helpful. One is being in conversation with others. And so, for you, looking at like, who are the people that actually like source your life? Who do you enjoy being in conversation in with your life? This could be a family member, a friend. It could be a mastermind group or a coach, but having people that actually connect you to essence. Maybe you're connected to the essence of the group. Maybe you're connected to your own essence, but that's a place really to foster. Because listen, we live in a digital age right now. We live in an age where we can be at home and get a lot of our needs, our quote unquote needs, through uh, online entertainment, or through grocery shopping online. Like, there's a lot of ways that, we don't have to be community anymore in the sense to survive. And there's also downfalls to that. So, which I'm not going to dive into now. I mean, I'm sure you can sort of figure it out on your own. But like, coming back to that place of connection, really, really fostering this place. I found this place to be hugely beneficial for having my essence be seen by the world, and to just be in connection with others, who bring this out of themselves as well. It becomes a beautiful place to just be, in connection, in relationship with. And then a few of the other places to look at, just in your day-to-day routine, is relaxation. So I know I mentioned in the headline, okay, meditation is potentially one of the band-aids. I sort of thought about it a bit more, and I'd say it depends. It depends what you're using it for. But if you have an understanding of your qualities of being, of who you are, um, and you could utilize meditation techniques, just sitting in silence and being connected to like the qualities within you, or going out on a walk into nature, and and just being connected to the environment around you, and being connected to the essence of who you are, like almost seeing it as like a connection of one, a connection of spirit, a connection of the universe, a connection of the world, and the connection of you. That's a really cool place to be with. And if I circle back to that connection aspect of it, really, like, if we look at that same example of being out in the world, being connected to nature and in the environment, being with others in that space as well, is a very uplifting experience, being connected to that essence of others. And one more place I'd have you look at. It's actually a place that I will go through with my coaching clients in my private coaching, is going through what's called a clearing exercise. And so oftentimes, in our day to day, our heads get filled with so much information, so much thought, so many experiences happening. And so the idea of a clearing exercise is pretty much like wiping the slate clean. Um, at certain parts of your day, whether you do that in the morning, whether you do that in the evening, at any point of the day, and getting into this habit of really allowing yourself to be free, to be clear, to have that clean slate. And so I have a specific way that I work through this with clients, but that's not the only way it has to be done. Another place that I found to be really effective is through meditation. I actually recorded a video, I think last year, where I was practicing this idea of clearing through at night with meditation. And the idea was like, it's pretty cool actually. I created it myself, and I'd be happy to find the video and share it with those of you who are interested. But the idea is really like allowing yourself to release the day, allowing yourself to just like start your day or end your day on this clean slate, which again allows you to be more connected with your essence. So those are a few places to look. And what do I want to say here? Um, Finishing off talking about, like, when we talk about empowering a lifestyle in alignment with essence, it's really about coming to a place where who you are, the qualities of being within you, that just gets to be like unleashed on the world. That whether you're in relationship, or you're at your job, or you're traveling, or you're speaking in public, that like this is about being connected to those qualities within you. um, so I spoke to a few of those points, but this is really what it's all about. Oftentimes we can sort of get ourselves fragmented into areas like, hey, I show up really strongly at work. I bring all my power and energy and excitement there. And then in my relationship, I find like I can't I can't do the same thing. And then that's the place to practice, because what this is all about is truly being connected to that authentic self, those qualities of being, and allowing that to be fully expressed in all areas of life. This is what this work is about. So, as we kind of start to wind down here, let me know any comments or questions that you have as we've gotten to this part of the conversation. Um, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it there for now. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys as you're catching this on the replay. And again, I'll post links to the previous videos. There was two other videos I recorded, one on discovering your essence, and the second one basically on like the ways that we get knocked out of our essence. And so I'll make sure to put those into the links in the video format that you find. And yeah, I'd love to hear, what's coming up for you in this conversation. Um, yeah, what questions that you might have. And again, I want to keep this video format as interactive as possible. The way I get sourced is by being in connection with others, and I'm going to be bringing that out more and more, over the next couple months. But yeah, so So let me know what topics you'd like to hear more about, and please feel free to bring what's real for you right now. Like, what are the areas that you actually want support in, or what are the areas that you're curious about, and I will definitely speak to it more. um Anything else I want to share? Basically, that I'm going to do one more video in this series, and the last video is going to be talking about how I bring this essence conversation into my coaching, and some of the experiences that the clients that I've worked with have had by having this conversation, by going through a coaching experience where a foundational piece of it has been through cultivating essence. And if you're interested to see more of that work, I've actually recorded a bunch of testimonials, but they're actually more client interviews with a bunch of my clients who have done this work and have shared, amazing experiences that they've had from this place, from doing this experience. So, um, if you would like to know more about that, please feel free to comment below, and I'll definitely send you those as well. But as for today, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know that your time is valuable, and if you're going to be watching a video, it's there's got to be some work to it. There's got to be a reason to watch it. So I really appreciate you spending the time doing that. And for now, I'll talk to you at another time.